Happy Monday, everyone. I've really been wanting to start a podcast, and I know that if I don't start it, it's not going to happen. I've actually talked about this happening for a while. I've actually recorded 2 episodes earlier this year. But I really wanted to just kind of set the intention, right? So first of all, happy Monday. Today is the 4th piece that we're adding for Charles's Nostalgia leg sleeve. What you guys are seeing here is the setup. So I just kind of want to do the setup for today, kind of record this live and just kind of unpack some thoughts as we wrap up this year and enter into the next one. So what I'd love to do is just be able to talk about what we've been doing over the past couple months here as I set up. So you guys will get a wide view. And for Charles's Nostalgia leg sleeve, what I wanted to do was to provide an accessible course to people where they could just watch in real time me design a whole leg sleeve, stencil it, put it on the client, tattoo it, hang out with the client, make adjustments to the design, all the way from the very beginning to from the conception of the design to the very end where like the whole leg sleeve is finished. And when we're designing leg sleeves, so with like realism imagery, it's never really like, this is the design, this is the finished tattoo. There's always changes and adjustments, and if you guys have been following along with the course, we've made several adjustments since then, and that's a very natural part of the process that I don't think is shared a lot. So I wanted to be able to almost give you, the viewer, a fly-on-the-wall perspective, as if you were to just kind of stand behind me and shadow me as I'm doing this tattoo. So what I have is this overhead bar, this rig that I support the camera on top. I've also got a camera on top of the tattoo tray. We're all mic'd up. And really, I just want to be able to give you the opportunity to just hang out with me for a whole day, for multiple days, almost as unedited as possible. I mean, we do turn the cameras off when we take our breaks about every hour or so. And it's been a whole learning process. It's been an experience, which is what I love to be able to share. Not everything is done right and smooth the first time. Like, we had cameras on the tattoo tray or the tattoo shut off the first couple times we were recording. Some cameras got too hot. We had to like work with some camera angles, with some audio things. And I wanted this to be as easy as possible for me to just set up and do. And to not have too much editing either, right? So I think when you're watching these courses, it's so much better because we have these cameras that are right overhead, and you get to see in high definition everything that I'm doing up close. Like, you get to see every pore, every ink drop, every time the stencil gets wiped. You get to see all of that, versus if you were here in person, which I've had in-person workshops before, you can really only get so close. Versus here we have like multiple cameras, we can zoom in and really be able to show everything. So I've been tattooing Charles now about every month, sometimes twice a month. And I get to record it, edit it, and I love doing all that because it's part of like the creative process. Like, besides just tattooing, painting, or drawing, like, I like to be able to see what's happening on the editing side, you know, as not only the person that's creating the course, but if I was a consumer, if I was a tattoo artist wanting to watch this course and watch it all happen, I wanted to be a part of the whole thing. So I've also worked on the website, get all the content out there. And again, it's not perfect. But as I began to do more, today we're on the 4th course now, we learn, we tweak, we make adjustments. And that's how we do everything in life. right? Like you have to actually go through the experience of doing whatever the thing is to get better at it. That happens with tattooing from the very beginning, making a course, if you want to start running or working out, painting, drawing, like I've done all that, and each time I was a beginner. I hate feeling like a beginner. I hate feeling like I don't know what I'm doing. I hate feeling like I don't have all the answers. But that's where, when things get challenging, like it's actually fun. It's enjoyable. So I like getting my hands on the equipment, on the editing, on all the stuff so that I can learn the behind the scenes stuff. So that this way when I hire somebody, which I've done before, I've hired them and I didn't really get the right views or angles or things that I wanted. Now that if I can do it by myself and I hire somebody, I know the things that I'm looking for as a content creator, as a content consumer, and I can give them the advice, the guidance of like, hey, here's the things that I need. You now take your creativity and you add your spin to it. So having the hands-on experience is definitely necessary for me. So yeah, that's just a little bit about the setup, just a little bit about what we're doing. Right now, the time, we're at 9:44. I told Charles to come in at like 10:30, so maybe we get about an hour's worth of podcast in here. So yeah, what you're seeing here now is we're inside Upside Tattoo. We're just about 2 years into this space. November 2022, we finished the build out, and March 2023, we had our grand opening. So I wanted to be able to create this space, not only to be able to tattoo, have other artists in here, but to have in-person workshops, to be able to record courses, to be able to record podcasts in here. And I've done a little bit of overtime, and it just takes so much time and energy to do everything, especially with like the build out of the shop, leading the space with other artists, with employees, that sometimes it becomes a bit much. So I had to kind of take it at my own pace. We're now 2 years in, finally getting the course going. 2 years in, next year we're starting to do more conventions. I think I've got 8 conventions planned for next year. We'll talk a little bit about that as well. But this space, I wanted it to be this big flex space. So if you guys are right in the middle of the space, and you're seeing just kind of one section of it, a little bit of Don's booth. We have room for guest artists here, guest artists behind you. Ashley's there, B is there. Our design table, our break area, then the painting and the drawing area, the reception area in the front. But I had this big wide open box concept so that I can make adjustments and use the space as I needed. So once or twice a month on Mondays, the shop's closed to just me and Charles, so that I can record this course with as minimal distractions as possible. Yeah. So it's just been fun being able to see all the things that I've imagined start to happen, right? And really it just requires so much time and energy. With anything that we're gonna do in life, that's all that it is. It's time, it's energy, and we only have 24 hours in the day. We only have 100% of our energy. And it's like, how do we choose to spend that each day? That's actually been a topic that I've been talking a lot about with other clients, other people, artists, friends that have come by, even as recent as yesterday. I'm the type of person that I'm interested in a lot of things. I want to do a lot of things. I want to excel at them. But I know that it requires so much time and energy that I can't do everything to the fullest as much as I'd like. Some of the examples I'll think about is number one, just being a tattoo artist. If you're a tattoo artist, you know how much time and energy it takes just to work on your craft, to work on the artistry of it, to be able to draw and study and paint and explore outside of tattooing as a full-time job. It takes a lot of time as well. And there's the discipline and the ritualistic aspects of it, of being able to commit a certain amount of time to drawing, to painting, to sculpting, whatever it is to help you get your craft to become better, to help your artistry elevate. On top of that, I love to still work out, right? To be able to strength train. I was doing it about every day, about an hour to hour and a half. But I also love running. So I've got a marathon coming up in middle of February, the Austin Marathon, 26 miles. I've got another event to hopefully get into the end of May. But with that, like, you have to actually train for it as well. So it's like, well, how do you split that time? And again, with only 24 hours in the day and 100% of your energy, you have to learn how to time manage. You have to learn like what's important to you. And those things can change over time. That's what I've realized. Like, I wanted to do everything at 100% as much as possible. But that's the key thing, right? As much as possible. On top of all those things, to still be a father and a husband, to be attentive at home, to help mentor other artists, and to lead a tattoo space. It just requires so much time and energy. And I sometimes feel bad that I can't do all the things that I like all the time. But that's just the nature of being somebody who like wants to do a lot of things and do it well. Some artists have talked and asked me about work-life balance. I don't have the answer for that. The only thing that I can advise you to do is find the things that spark joy, that give you energy, that excite you. Find the things that you know you need work on. And your conscience will tell you those things. Like, I have to do these things. I need to get better at this. These are the areas of improvement. These are the things that I can kind of put on the back burner for a little bit. No one else is going to know you like you. Our conscience will guide us when we start to feel bad, when we're feeling short on something, when we know we want to excel and do something better. We have our own intuition inside to guide us, and hopefully we can make the best decision for that time to know, hey, I can't run 2 to 3 hours every day like I used to this time. Like, I really want to work on my craft, so I want to draw more. I want to study anatomy. I want to study perspective. I want to do all those things so that I can be able to hand draw my own images for my tattoos. I know that I don't need to draw as much because right now I'm focusing on certain technical abilities within tattooing. So I may just be focusing on like the technical parts of tattooing to try to get things to be a little bit more realistic or a little bit more textured, or whatever your thing is. We have to know like what are the areas that we're lacking in and how much time do we dedicate to all these areas. When it comes to work-life balance, it's like, how do you manage that with the family too? So for me, it's like, that's why I have to wake up early in the morning before everyone else wakes up so that I have like my me time, right? That's my time to work out, to run, to draw, to paint, whatever it is. And if you're the type that needs to watch a movie or play video games, then great. Like, you have to find the time. And what we're doing is we're voting for the things that are important to us. I need to play games. I need to watch this movie. I need to spend time with my kid. I need to paint. I need to draw. Like, you'll realize we need to do a lot of things. But it's like, how do we prioritize what is important to us so that we can get those things done? And we'll learn that we don't have a lot of time. We don't have the ability to do everything that we want as best as we can. Like, we have a jiu-jitsu spot that opened next door. And I'm really excited. I wanted to go join it, but I know that if I join, it's going to require at least an hour to 2 hours on certain days, multiple days of the week, that I don't want to spend because I would be sacrificing time in other areas. So time management always ends up being like one of the most important things, and that's why it's been hard for me to start this podcast. It's like, well, I have to set the time aside to do it, but I'm here an hour early, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna do it a little bit different, perhaps a little bit more of a creative approach, and I'm going to just record it as I'm setting up. Because I like doing, I guess, the real life stuff, the fly on the wall things, the ability for you to just kind of see what's happening in real time with as little editing as possible. So we've got this 1 hour gap where I can set up and talk to you guys. And that's kind of how it was when I was recording videos every day. Those videos that I was recording every day, I wanted to have it done as quickly as possible, as easy as possible, with as minimal editing. That after my workout for an hour, I'd go for a run. After my run, on my 2-minute walk back home, I'd have an opportunity to just kind of dump my thoughts and my feelings, my perspectives for the day in 1 or 2 takes, maximum 3, and then just clip the beginning, clip the end, upload it, put a caption on there, and call it done. That's how I was able to create so much content before, and reach probably a lot of you guys, was just to be able to, how do I make this process as simple and as easy as possible? And if I overcomplicate it, like a lot of the times that we do, we need to have the perfect schedule, the right plan, the right equipment and everything. Sometimes it just doesn't happen. So I've been talking about doing this podcast for a while, and it's like, if I don't just start and find it a way to make it as easy and simple and convenient as possible, it's never gonna happen. Talk to people when it comes to fitness also, like, well, how do I start? When do I start? What kind of shoes do I need? What kind of equipment that I need? It's like, you don't need anything. Like, you can start running with what you have now, and you can start with a run around the block. You can start with a quarter mile. You can start with a mile. You can run 3 times a week. You can run once a week. You can just start, and eventually just start stacking up how often you're doing it, adding more time, eventually adding the equipment. Same thing when you're strength training. All you need is just to do push-ups, to start with sit-ups, to do air squats, and eventually you'll earn your way to be able to, maybe now I'm committed enough, I can buy dumbbells, I can buy a bench, I can buy a rack, I can buy a bicycle. You can choose depending on your level of commitment to whatever that thing is. Same thing with drawing. When I started drawing and painting at the end of 2021, I just finished reading Stephen Pressfield's The War of Art. And it was talking a lot about resistance, and you just have to find where the resistance is and make it as simple as possible to get started. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna start with this habit of drawing every single day. Oh shit, what do I need to start drawing? What do I need? Like, I need to get a table first. When will the table come in? How much does the table cost? What type of table? What type of angle? What kind of lighting do I need? What kind of paper do I need? I was like, you don't need any of that. In fact, I was standing in my studio, which used to be my workout room in the front of my house, and I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna draw right here on the floor with what I have. And it was with pastel. It was with tattoo ink. And when I was drawing on the floor for a couple days, I was like, you know what? I can do this for about like half an hour to an hour each day. This is fine. I'm showing a level of commitment to it. Now I'll buy a table. Now I'll invest in an easel. Now I'll invest in different art supplies. So I eventually earned my way to getting more things to support, not this idea, not this excitement or this motivation for me to like do this thing, but now it's like, it's a commitment, it's a habit, it's a ritual that I was going to do this thing every day. And that happens with a lot of the things that I get interested in. When I run, it's like whatever I have, I'm good to go. Shorts, shirts, shoes, we can run with that. Over time, I can start to do research on like the best type of shorts, the best type of shoes, the best type of running watch, heart rate monitor, the best type of supplements. Like, you get to that point when you've just gotten started and you've shown yourself, I'm ready to do this thing. And I'm gonna cycle back to this course because that's what I'm here to do today, is to do this course. I just had to get it started. So I had to like find a client, figure out what the idea and the concept was, and I wanted to be able to create a big project because number one, composition and design for large scale black and gray realism is something that I excel at, and that's something that I'm really excited about to share with people. Then I had to find somebody And I found Charles, who's an existing client already, to, hey, this is what I want to do. Are you open for it? What's your schedule? What's the availability? Let's make this happen. I want to record it for a course. I got a few camera equipment. I got a few rigs. It's not the best stuff. It's like mid-tier, but it works. Over time, I can start to upgrade lens, cameras, rigs, lighting, whatever the thing is. But I know that I've got the space and the equipment and the skills to be able to just get it going. And that's what we all have, is we have the ability to just get started. But when do we actually start? Right? We're just waiting for the right time, the right moment, but we're just delaying the start. We're delaying embarking on the path to getting better, to our level of greatness. And we just got to get it started. I remember the same thing every time I've wanted to get back into running, into working out. Even when my son was born, the few months prior to, I wasn't working out as often, a couple days a week. But for me, I was doing like every day before. And when my son was born, I took 6 weeks off of work, and I said, you know what, I can make this happen. I can get back into that habit again. So before he was born end of May, I think. From middle of May to the end of June, I had a big whiteout board, and I just wrote each date of those 6 weeks. And all I had to do was do something fitness related. Pull-ups, push-ups, workout, run, something. And then what I did was I just crossed out that date. I did something that day. And it's just so much easier when we have something to visualize, and we can just say, hey, like, here's our actual progress. Here's a picture of all the times that I've worked out. Here's a little video clip that I've done. Here's the date that I checked off. Here's the weights that I'm increasing on. Like, when we can track our progress, when we can measure it, we actually get results. Same thing when we're recording a podcast. If I can just record something, whether it's half an hour, and I can upload it online, and I can do that once a week, if I can take a couple clips from there and put it online, we're just kickstarting the engine, right? When you cold start an engine, it takes a lot of energy, it takes a lot of effort. But once the engine is going, you can just keep going, right? It becomes easier and easier. But again, we just wait for this perfect opportunity that sometimes never comes, but the perfect opportunity is always right here. So think about that for whatever it is that you're trying to do. Make it as simple as possible. And if we're thinking about the end of the year, and again, fitness is my thing, and you want to get into fitness, you don't need anything. You don't even need a gym membership. You just need to get started by doing 20 push-ups, 100 push-ups, 10 burpees, 20 burpees. Find a way to just get started and check that box off. Cross the date off. Like, say that you did something on this day and you build up that momentum. That momentum is going to be the thing that gets you on the path to get it going, because if you never start, you never start. You never make progress. Same thing if you want to start drawing, studying, getting better at your craft. You got to just find the time to make it happen. For the tattoo machine that I'm using today, and I'm just going to go on different tangents because I still have to like set up and think about this and how do I get ready for the day. Cheyenne Solnovan Limited. I've been using this since the middle of 2020. Same machine, 3.5 stroke, and it's been amazing. Like, I love this one. I bought another one, a 4.2 stroke, and I just tried using that one. I've used it several times throughout the past year, but this machine is still going strong. I love the form factor. I love the stainless steel grip that's on the front of it. And for the course, I also have a tripod here with a camera directly overhead. So whenever I'm tattooing and I need to dip in something, I use 6 different ink caps from a 1 drop all the way to solid black. And I number the caps 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So in the tattoo video, I'll talk about like I'm dipping in cap 2 or 3 or 4. And as I'm tattooing, when you're watching the course in the video, you'll see the tattoo tray and the tattoo side by side. You'll have the reference photos so you can see what I'm looking at, as well as the tattoo tray and the client there. That's the machine. Gloves, paper towels, needles. And then everything is like a daily checklist in my head. Like when I walk into the space, an upside, it's like I mentally look around and I'm checking on the reception area, the art space, the restrooms, the tattoo tables, the kitchen, the drawing space, the meditation circle. And I look at all those things and just make sure like, is everything good? Is everything where it needs to be? Same thing when I'm tattooing, well, when I'm setting up. There's a mental checklist to make sure like everything is exactly where it needs to be so that when I'm tattooing, I don't have to think about like where things, like if something's out of place, like I try to have everything in its place. And there's a French concept when it comes to cooking. I'm gonna butcher this, but mise en place, right? Everything in its place. And there's a lady named Marie Kondo. Is it Marie Kondo? This Japanese lady that's all about organization, and everything has to have a home. Everything has to have a place. And I brought that concept to my house, to my home, to pass that on to my kids. And when we organize things in the house and they're looking for something, it's like, well, where's its home, right? If you're looking for your iPad or your toy, where's its home? Where's it supposed to be? And if they put it back, their things back where they belong, it's easy for them to find it. But if they don't put it back into its home, if they just leave it in random places, you're gonna have a hard time. You're gonna struggle every day to find your stuff. So it still happens to this day. My daughter's 6, my son Marcus is a year and a half now, and I try to like teach them about like having things in its home, in its place, so that now when my daughter's like, hey, where's my thing? Like, did you check it where its home is? Like, normally it's here. And she'll go and she'll find it. Or it's not there and we'll have to backtrack. Where's the last place that you used it? And that's a learning lesson to be able to go back and backtrack her steps and know now that it's difficult to find your stuff, put it back where it belongs next time. So tattooing is the same thing, so that I don't pick up the wrong needle, or I'm not spending energy fumbling, looking for my stuff, like my Aquatat, my alcohol, my stencil stuff, my water, everything is exactly where it needs to be. Everything in its place. And soap. Today we're going to be working on an avatar tattoo. So it's going to be from the live action one. It's going to be Appa, the giant flying bison. And it's got little mini portraits of the 3 characters on top of it. That's going to go right by the SpongeBob SquarePants piece and the Yu-Gi-Oh! Metallic card that we've done already. So I'm excited. We've already stenciled that a couple weeks ago. I was actually supposed to tattoo him 2 weeks ago, but I ended up getting the flu and the fever. So I didn't end up getting to tattoo him. I was sleeping for about like 16 to 18 hours each day for 2 days. Worst I've ever felt. So unfortunately I had to reschedule. But we're back today. I'm super excited to be tattooing. Took most of last week off for Christmas break. And I ended up tattooing my sister-in-law, a portrait of her grandma, which is my wife's grandma. A lot of high pressure, not only for portraits, but this is a lady that I know who's still alive, like my wife's grandma. And a lot of pressure, but it was so nice to be able to take time off, come back, and just like know that this was the only piece of the week. This is somebody that you know, somebody that you care about. You gotta kill it. And I wish I recorded it and made a course out of it. It's one of my favorite portraits. I think it's one of my best ones so far. And that's how it should be, right? Every one of our latest tattoos should be our best pieces. But when I'm tattooing a person that I haven't tattooed for a long time or not often, I really just want to be there with the client. And that's the thing when I set up this course. I've tattooed Charles before. I've given him full time and attention. But now we're working on this course, and he's sitting here knowing that my energy is not, I'm going to say, fully with him, because my brain also has to be on this course. So to be able to come back after having a week off and tattoo again, I'm super excited. Let's see. No, that's not him. Okay. Let's swap out some lenses. Lenses on there, so I'll swap it out later. Get the microphones on. Let's see. What's the best way to do this? I keep forgetting how I set this one up. This is camera 1, 2. How did I do this last time? What else is there? Yeah, so conventions. Conventions, I've got 8 planned for this year. Before 2020, I was doing maybe like 6 to 8 shows a year. COVID happened. I moved. Spent time opening a shop. My son was born. And finally, May of last year, did my first show, Empire State, since 2020. And after talking with the artists Don and Ashley here, I think it's time to get back out there again. So, wanted to plan more shows to do together. We want to do the ones that are all near Texas. Want to do some of our favorite shows, our favorite places. So I'll try to go in order for the year. First show that we're going to be doing is Charlotte, which is in March. Already reserved the booth for that one. And that's because that's where Don is from. Don's from Charlotte, and he's always wanted to, he's attended that show as a spectator, as a visitor. But he's always wanted to like work that show as an artist. So now we get to go to his hometown and we get to do a convention together. Super exciting for him, super exciting for all of us. Then after that, in May, we've got Empire State. Empire State's in New York City. After that, we've got Houston in June. After that, I've got Chicago at the end of June. We're hoping for August to go to Hawaii. That's where Ashley's from. That's 4. September, Golden State Tattoo Expo in California, in Pasadena. What else was there? I know there's San Antonio in November. San Antonio. Shirley Houston. Oh, and then Dallas, Longhorn Tattoo Expo in October. So got 8 conventions coming up. 3 of the Villain Arts ones, Charlotte, Houston, San Antonio. 3 of the Ink Mag ones, New York, Golden State, and Longhorn State. And then we have Hawaii and Chicago, Third Coast Tattoo Expo. So yeah, 8 shows planned for me this year. Once we get all the bookings and everything confirmed, I'll post them. Hopefully we can tattoo you there. Hopefully see you at the show. But that'll be nice to just, again, kickstart that energy for the new year. There may be more shows, but I think that's what I'm ready to commit to, because outside of those 8 shows, we've got personal trips coming up and work trips too. So I'll be in New York end of January. I'll be at Love Machine. I'll be at Dennis Savak Shop, and then I'll be at Coral's Tattoo Shop for a day. February, I'll be in Vegas for a week, tattooing. I'll be with Manny at Revolution Tattoos for a little bit. I'll probably make another trip to Vegas later in the year. And then outside of that, we've got like personal family trips planned. Probably hit up San Diego. We want to do Cambodia and Korea by the end of next year. So as I start to line up all those things, I'm like, damn, that's going to require a lot of time, a lot of energy. But it's going to bring back a lot as far as experience, connection with the artist, with the family. So I'm excited for all those things. Okay. What else here? Yeah, and there's a part of me that wants to apologize for not having this first episode as streamlined as possible, as well thought out as possible, as planned as possible. And again, I already explained in the beginning, I was like, we just got to get started, because I know that I like to plan things out, I like to perfect, I like to refine, I like to make it as perfect as possible. But if I don't just do it, it's not going to happen. So when I think about this first one, or even maybe a couple of them, is just going to be like updates. Like a lot of stuff is going on this year. I want to do one of these once a week at least. give you guys some updates, but then some weeks we'll have like specific topics. Like I'll be going through something, or I've got an idea that I want to share, and I'll have time to kind of sit down and unpack through ideas, through experience, through stories, lessons that I've learned and things that I can extract and share with you guys. So like I said, I feel like I want to apologize, but I'm not going to, because there's a method to the madness, and sometimes a little bit of unorganization. Like, I like to just get started and just get it moving. Like, when I know that I'm moving somewhere, every time that I've moved in my life, I think I moved a total of 13 times or 14 times in my life. I can try to recount them, but each time that I knew that I was moving, I wanted to get onto that next chapter. I wanted to pack everything up. I wanted to just put everything in there and just sleep on the bed in the new place, and I'll figure out everything else later. I don't need it to be perfect and exactly where things need to go. I just need to get started. Same thing when I was like finding a shop. I wanted to just find it, quickly get the contractor, I wanted to just move along the process. And as soon as this place got signed off with the fire marshal for the certificate of occupancy, that was in the afternoon. The same night after we finished tattooing at another place, I just told everyone, let's pack up, let's move everything in here. We don't have all the furniture. I know we've got appointments coming up, but I'd rather just tattoo in here bare bones, feel it, live into the space, be in that next experience, and just move on, just live it out. So I just got to get started. I think that's what a lot of us need to do, is like just stop overthinking, stop overanalyzing, and just make it happen. Because we know that this can take forever, and we never do the things that we say we're going to do. What else is there? Don't need this one today. What's the next thing? What's next? What's big? What's coming up for me? Is the Austin Marathon. Austin Marathon, I think, is in about 7 weeks. So 7 weeks coming up. I got at least 4 days of running each week. This week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 7 miles each morning. Saturday, which is a long run, I double that, so we're at 14 miles on Saturday. Next week, we're at 8 miles each morning, 3 days a week. On the 4th day, we're doing 16 miles. After that, we're at 9 miles each day, 18 miles. And I'm going to stay at 9 miles each day for the next 3 weeks. But now it'll be 20 miles for the long run, 22 miles for the long run. Then we'll ramp down, and as we get to the week leading up to the marathon, easy 6 miles, 3 miles. February 16th, Sunday, we've got 26 miles. So I'm excited for this one because last year I committed to the marathon. I didn't train for a full marathon. I've done 50Ks before. I've ran 30 miles, 31. I've ran 35 miles before. I've ran like 5 50Ks before. So I didn't think running was going to be that difficult for me. But I trained up to 13 miles. And I was like, my body's got this. I've done this before. And when it came to the marathon, I did really well up until the 13 miles. And then once we crossed that 13-mile mark, something happened with my body, and it was a struggle every mile after that. I remember walking, running, drinking water at every rest station, trying to use the restroom, and just like going from about a 4-hour finish time to about like 5 hours and 15 or 20 minutes or so. And I didn't do as well as I'd like to have done. I finished the marathon, but I didn't do as well as I'd like to. So I was all right, I'm going to commit to doing this one again. I'm going to train better for it and make it happen. So I got about 7 weeks left. And in between that, in the mornings, still after we drop my daughter off for school, me and my wife, we have 30 minutes of like strength training before I got to get ready for work. So this is one of those seasons where strength training is not as high on my priority list. I still want to get something in. I just don't have that time to commit to building and developing and bulking, if you will. But I've got my other priorities of running. So as long as I can get something physical in, physically I feel good. As long as I can get some sort of creative activity in, I feel good, right? So like I know what makes me thrive. I know what makes me feel like I'm supporting the path that I want to be on. And that's going to be fitness. That's going to be creativity. That's going to be spending time with my family. And I can't tell you to do the same things that I'm doing because what I'm doing may not be your path. It may not be your fire, your passion. But you've got to learn to listen, and you know, like, damn, I should be eating better. I should be working out more. Like, I know I want to do these things because of me. Not because of anyone else says you should be doing something, but you feel and you know deep down inside, these are the things that are going to support you and allow you to thrive and to grow. Take that action and do it now. Like, just start. Whatever it is that you think you want to do, whatever you know inside, like your conscience tells you this is what you have to work on, find a way to just get it going. Draw 5 minutes, run 5 minutes, work out for 5 minutes, like just get it started. And call it a day, right? Sometimes just starting those 5 minutes is enough. Then tomorrow you can do 5 minutes again. The next day you can do 5 minutes again. And if you feel like the next day you can do 10 minutes, do 10. If you feel like you can do 20, do 20. But some people want to set these big, audacious goals in the very beginning when you've never done anything hard or challenging before, when it's already been challenging to start these big, audacious goals before. Just get it started. Make it as easy as possible to get into whatever it is that you're trying to do. And after that, it's going to be easy because you've established a habit, a pattern, a ritual that this is the time that I'm going to do this task, this activity. This is the energy and the time that I'm going to commit to it. This is the space that I have to work on my task, my goal, my activity. And when you're ready, begin to increase. Increase the time, the energy, the equipment, whatever you need to support you on your journey. But it starts with not motivation, but just the act of starting the thing. And that's how I'm going to end this podcast. Like, I'm going to take this home. I'm going to chop it up really quick. I'm going to make sure the audio is good. I'm going to upload it to YouTube. I'm going to put a caption on there. Call it done. I get to check that box off. And my plan is once a week. I'm going to commit to you guys, to myself. I'm going to do this once a week, whether it's here at my house after a run, where I can record something, unpack the lessons, share and connect with you guys, give you updates on what's going on, and just get started on this podcast journey. Just continue my running journey. Just continue my fitness, my art journey. Continue getting better as a person, with myself, with my family. And I ask for you to look within and think about what is it that you could be doing better? What is it that you know you've been putting off for too long? What is the simplest path to just get started? And if you can identify those things, take all the extra work out, take all the extra thinking off, and just find a way to start. Right now. Have an amazing rest of your day. Thank you for watching. Thank you for spending your time and your energy with me. with anything I do, this is just going to get better over time. I just love to be able to hit the record button and just get it up there. So have an amazing day. I love and appreciate you guys.